I wasn't going to do a live today, and then I decided that I should on the Great Reset. So I want you to try to look for a guided meditation that Andromeda Flame and I did about, I would say, almost 2 years ago on Satya Yuga. Please look it up. I would say almost 2 years ago on Satya Yuga. Please look it up, Satya Yuga. It is a wonderful guided meditation to help you reset yourself into a new consciousness. Because right now, the age of iron, Kali Yuga, is very much front and center in our faces, and it can be quite overpowering in energy. And so I'm asking you to realize that with every generation, the contrast, the chasm of consciousness is so apparent, so triggering. From people like Bonnie Blue to high-level conscious women who are emerging, and men who are emerging in discussing ascension. This is there to give you contrast, to give you the ability to choose what you want to experience in your daily life moving forward. It might be put in front of you to distract you, to create despair. If your algorithm is only showing you bad news, especially on TikTok, you and I both know what that means. You want to shift your attention. In the last 5 years, as a matter of fact, we're coming up to the massive lockdown that began in around late February, early March of the COVID lockdown in 2020. 5 years. 5 years in numerology represents Mercury, communication. We are in 2025, number 9. In numerology, it is the co-creation of whatever you want. It is the void. It is the creator of all. 2025, I've spoken about it for quite some time in many of my lives, about why 9 is a powerful number. And why 9 is going to give you right now, right here, at this moment, at this second, what you decide you want to experience. The fight is real. The degradation of yourself into past habits, behaviors, addictions may come on you to wipe you out for 3 days, a week, a month. Don't denigrate yourself in these seemingly regressions that are really massive purgings of habits not yet cleared, released, purified. We are coming into the age, in fact, better still, we are in the age of Satya Yuga, the golden age, colliding with Kali Yuga, the iron age, the taste of dust and blood and iron in your mouth needs to be cleansed through mantras, through chanting of whatever. I don't care what religion you follow. I want you to cleanse your whole consciousness, the taste in your mouth with the nectar of the golden light of unconditional love. We have had many spiritualists, conspiracy theorists, and I say this with respect, spiritualists, conspiracy theorists, and I say this with respect, who have given us the truth, because without the truth we would not know contrast to make decisions opposite of the shit show that you have witnessed in the last 5 years. Sudden deaths and losses. Things you never thought you'd see with your two mortal eyes, and yet here you are, and you survived it. It's not meant to change you into a bitter, cynical, angry, despairing, sentient being. It was always there. In at least the last 2,000 years, it was always there. The age of iron, blood, and dust in our mouths. And we were told by powers that used religions to subjugate us. Again, not to denigrate whatever you believe in, but rise it out of the mud of oppression from others who needed to control and oppress populations. The age of Satya Yuga is right in front of your eyes, like a flame hovering, asking to be seen. Open your third eye to see it, to accept it, to embrace it as your new reality. Create the world you want to see within you first. It is this battle that has been waged in many of our incarnations with little success because of the dogma taught to us from the time we were birthed. And now we know, and knowledge is power. And so when you control the monkey mind, the false ego, the internal dialogue that has slashed you to bits for centuries, and you now can control it through pranayama, breathing, meditation, and mantras, chanting, you will see your true self emerge out of the ashes. And when you open your eyes, you will see that what you have reflected within will be what you see surrounding you. And we have to do this work individually and collectively in discussions. Each generation moving forward will have a purer message than ever before. Those of us born under the Kali Yuga fist of oppression will die away. Our bodies will turn into dust, but our souls will be shining brighter than ever before. And we will no longer be a match, as I've said again and again and again. We cannot be a match. In this new consciousness, in the consciousness of Satya Yuga, you are not a match to the oppressive military subjugation of these billionaires, trillionaires, politicians, the hyenas of our planet, the vultures. And with that said, that kind of faith in yourself is the battle that you have to master within. Because without you, individually, you working on this monkey mind, master within. Because without you, individually, you working on this monkey mind that thinks that it does not matter, that you don't matter, that what you say, what you feel, what you think will make no impact on the world because it's just little old you, John Doe, Jane Doe. That feeling of not mattering was created by design. Individually, they broke each of our fingers. They broke our knees, our ankles, our backs, our necks, so that we would not feel important individually or collectively. Nothing will ever change, is what was said from the great brainwashing of their work. And so individually and collectively, we thought that our vote doesn't count. Nothing will ever change. It will always be this way. It was always this way. And those were all lies that we ate up like our truth. that created this despair, and remembering some of our past lives where we failed and shaming ourselves in those failures. All of that means nothing. What matters now is this minute. What you do with each minute moving forward, with your consciousness and self-belief in your value, and how you impact the collective, and how you are one gold star among many, but we are nothing without each other. It doesn't matter if we'll never meet each other. It doesn't matter if we never hear each other's voices. What matters is that you stand in your light, realizing that you are so much a big part of the ascension into this beautiful new earth. And not just this new earth, but new collective incarnations into other planets without the fear of annihilation. As star seeds, we remember planets that were destroyed. Genocide is not something that is exclusively to planet Earth. And we are rebuilding a consciousness that is really more of a reflection of the one who created us all. And we are rebuilding a consciousness that is really more of a reflection of the one who created us all. We are finally coming to a place within ourselves that is more of a match to our true nature and to the nature of the Creator. We don't need to incarnate anymore. Not us, the ones who have awakened and who have made peace with our pasts, our failures, our fuckeries, our evil and our good and our light. Letting it all go, all of it. Because what matters now is who you are today. It doesn't even matter what you did last week that was not in alignment with yourself. What matters is who you are today, right now. And that is going to be absolutely the most important gift you can give yourself in the generation you embody, and all generations across all planets, dimensions, across all timelines. You are so important. And they knew it. That's why they never wanted you to see it. And they created barriers and rhetorics and stories to always make you feel as if love was not enough. As if love could not conquer all. Watch every movie, every story. They rarely end well. There's always something that goes wrong. It's interesting. Something always has to be lost. Someone along the way has to be sacrificed. But that's not true. At all. I think we're getting to a place where we are so consciously intent on raising the new generation with as much generosity and as much respect to their own inner wisdom, these ancient souls in these new bodies, who will purify the truth even further than we have. And it will go on. And the machine of oppression can't stop it. And so before such a split happens, which is happening as we speak, the machine of oppression, the machine of Kali Yuga, has to do its work to keep as many people trapped in the loop of their own self-loathing, their own despair. And that is going to be something that is going to unfortunately successfully trap some, but not you. Not you. Eventually, many will come later. Think of it as a delay, but let it not delay you, because you are important to the massive trajectory of speed that will bring many of us catapulted to the other side of this tragic story that we were sold as the only truth and the only reality and the only logical end to our story. Lies and lies and lies and rhetoric and propaganda has really grabbed us by the throat. Many of you have problems with your throat chakra. Many of you aren't even comfortable or confident in speaking your truth. You choke on your words. Let that be your sign. You don't need to speak. You can use images, telepathy, and music, frequency. Don't worry about it. We all have our parts in this great, beautiful story of freedom. Don't second guess, denigrate your inability to speak as some of us speak. You have been tasked perhaps with a different message, a different way of imparting that truth of freedom and what it means and what it looks like. Maybe even what it smells like. We all have our parts. And we all need to show up now. It's not when I get this and done, I'll be able to do this. It's now. The time is now. And this golden age that many will say will never come for thousands upon thousands of years is another lie. Because time, as we know it, is something completely within this particular 3D framework. It doesn't exist in other realms. It actually doesn't. And because we know that time is not linear, Kali Yuga is there if your mind and your heart and your... Kali Yuga is there if your mind and your heart and your root chakra walk in this frequency of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga exists because we've been told to embrace. Kali Yuga exists because we've been told to embrace it. Satya Yuga does not exist unless you claim it within your heart chakra, your third eye, your root chakra. Claiming it throughout your chakras, claiming it beyond even this body on a beautiful frequency vibration that imbues the electricity, the brightness of your soul, its pure energy field. Satya Yuga was ripped out of our hands through the bold steps of the very small percentage of was ripped out of our hands through the bold steps of the very small percentage of sentient beings who created the amnesia to keep us in the perpetual hamster wheel of nowhere, of nothing, of dead-end streets and shut down gates. We had forgotten how to go home. And home is a place of infinite love. The polarities we've been sold, this need even from the New Age movement to tell us that we needed to keep reincarnating and reincarnating. It's funny how many of us started waking up back in 2012, 2014, And many of you in 2020 realizing there was something wrong with that story. It's like going to college to get your PhD for the same degree again and again and again and again. And every time you are wiped clean of what you learned. But this concept of being wiped clean is an illusion. The amnesia is from this monkey brain. It has nothing to do with your soul. That's why sometimes you scare yourself with some of the downloads, the knowledge, this aha moment, this unspoken knowing. You have no idea where it comes from. Yes, it's guided to you, but it's also yours. Your knowledge, your recalls from many incarnations. And the recollections are probably one of the most important things you can start working on. You have to stop believing in what they have sold you for thousands of years. We still really don't truly know how we got here. Let's be honest. The Adam and Eve rhetoric, the Lilith and Adam, the Anunnaki, Lemuria, Atlantis, we have fragments of these stories, shreds, sentences, nothing more. And so individually, we're going to have to become the great archaeologist of our soul's history, our soul, which will expand into the soul's experiences on this realm, in other realms that we've forgotten. Gods, goddesses, devis that we've forgotten. The reason why the awakening and the understanding that they had hidden the truth about Mary Magdalena and Yeshua was one drop in the ocean of oppressions, of truths, of other high-level individuals who had walked this planet and other realms, and we don't know who they are. We don't know their names, and so we hang on to these two archetypes who represent the lost knowledge of the sacred masculine and sacred feminine across all timelines, dimensions, and planets. We're hurting, and we have been in pain for thousands of years because we are centered in love, and we knew that the lies that we were given we couldn't prove, and when we tried to prove it, we were thrown in racks, prisons, tortured, and burned. As a message to all who questioned, this is what happens when you question us. So that within our own souls, it will reverberate such a fear that we'd be afraid to talk. That's why many of your throat chakras are choked. It choked on the smoke as you were burned. For asking the most beautiful questions of reality and your making. Where do I come from, really? That is now finally done. Right now, right at this moment, it's all done and shattered into pieces, scattered and then went to be transmuted into gold dust, to be transmuted into whatever you want. But we no longer have to accept one more word of bullshit ever again. Your battle now isn't with the outside world. It actually never was. Your battle is with yourself. The war, the spiritual war, is you. In the strength of self, the war, the spiritual war, is you. In the strength card of tarot, which is 8, a karmic number, It represents the lion and the maiden, the soul and the ego. That's your battle. You have to drop your burdens. You have to drop these old, antiquated ideas that have created limitations that you've embraced as if it was your truth. You really need to step into your heart and work on your solar plexus and your heart chakra and open the chambers. The exercises that we teach are there to start unlocking the windows and doors of your cage. For some, this is why many take sacred medicine. It's a full blast, an absolute implosion, a reset. Depression, breakdown, breakthrough is part of that journey, dark night of the soul. The proxy to your awakening is a twin in some cases. The quotation of putting a shame onto mental illness when it's not mental illness. It isn't mental illness. Anybody would go insane thinking this was sane. And so the battle you're going to have, and you will win it, is with yourself. It's a purging like you would with any parasitical energy. If you knew you had a parasite, you would take the herbs, you would fast, you would do whatever you need to take and do to get rid of a parasite. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to do it day by day. And when you fall, and you will fall, because it's exhausting and it's okay, you're going to get back up. And you're going to form communities on Telegram, on WhatsApp, however, form book clubs like we have so that we can support each other. Book clubs like we have so that we can support each other. Join ours. Create your own. You're not alone unless you choose to be alone. And I've seen too many people, good souls, that were so devalued in their own eyes that they kept to themselves, never reaching out to be part of a community to say, I need your help. I can't do this anymore. I'm losing my mind. You're not alone. If you think you're alone, it's your choice. You're choosing to be alone. And my question to you is, why? Are you ashamed? Do you not feel worthy? Do you feel you have nothing to add to a conversation in a community? Do you feel you're not as smart as the others who maybe know more spiritually than you in face value? What stories are you saying in your head that is keeping you from reaching out? We can't do this alone. We never have, and we never will. We will have times of solitude to process, but we will always come back to our tribe. And so you're going to have to figure why you're not reaching out for help. There's no shame in that. And there's a lot of celebration to be had and a lot of community bonding, reflecting, learning, teaching, sharing, laughter and tears. It is our nature. Some of us are more into solitude than others, but I can tell you this. At some point, you need your tribe. All right? I love you all. Many of you I'll never meet. And I love you because I know you're listening. And I know that because you're listening, it means there is some kind of connection of this philosophy that resonates. And because of that, I consider you a sister or a brother. Because very few people even understand what this is. And that is lonely. And you need to have these wonderful esoteric conversations with your tribe. It may not be your tribe, but as long as you start with a tribe, eventually your energy and frequency will be so refined and so healed that your tribe will be a frequency match and you will meet them at some point. But for now, get into a tribe, join us, or create your own, but do something. Kali Yuga is no longer here. Satya Yuga reigns, the golden age, because we now know what Kali Yuga tasted like, looked like, felt like, and we know we deserve more. And that's why the twin flame journey was so important for you. Contrast what was possible, what you could enjoy and claim, and your twin runner showing you what self-loathing, self-destruction looks like based on family lineage trauma. We could go on and on, but be the one that stands tall in your Satya Yuga energy. Trust that when you are fully in your light, in your journey, crossing the gates, fully in your light, in your journey, crossing the gates of ascension, your twin will be there. Don't look back. Trust. Every mythology, every story speaks of don't look back, or they will turn to salt. Don't look back, or they will be grabbed by energies that throws them back into the dark pit of hell. Don't look back. Isn't that interesting? They gave us a warning. Don't look back. They will follow. Be patient. They will be there. Because the kind of love that you have in your heart for yourself, for them, is so expansive, so beautiful. It's undeniable. So keep walking forward. Don't look back. Don't second guess yourself. Don't doubt. Sending you much love on your journey. Namaste.